If you work at a desk, then you know the feeling. That nagging pain that just shows up day after day. You've probably bought the fancy ergonomic chair, you got the lumbar pillows, the whole setup. But that ache is still there, right? Well, let's get into it. Because the real reason for your pain might be hiding in plain sight. And you know what? The fix could be much, much smaller than you think.
Does this sound familiar? I mean, really specific, right? This quote comes from somebody who had tried everything to solve their desk pain. It's so vivid, and for a lot of us, it's painfully relatable. This isn't just some dull ache. It's a character in your workday story that shows up right on cue, and it's about time we figured out what's really going on.
So, first things first, let's get on the same page about this. This pain isn't random. It's not just you, it is a pattern, a totally predictable sequence of events that unfolds like clockwork every single workday. I mean, check this out. This is a real story. For one person, it all started with a simple tug in the right buttock, right around 11 a.m. Fast forward to 3 p.m., and bam, it blossomed into that hot stripe we just talked about. And by 5 p.m., when you're just trying to grind through that last hour, the pain is at its absolute worst. You see? Recognizing that pattern is the very first step. So what do we do when this pain starts? Well, we buy things. A lot of things. We try to throw money at the problem, and we end up creating what you could call a gadget graveyard right there at our desks.
The list probably looks pretty familiar, doesn't it? You get the best supportive chair you can find, a nice monitor right at eye level. Then you add the lumbar pillows, the wrist rests, maybe even a footstool. You might end up with, and I quote, enough accessories to stock a small boutique. You have literally invested in supporting your body.
And that right there brings us to the million-dollar question. You've done everything you were told to do. You've built this fortress of ergonomic perfection. So why on earth does it still hurt? It's super frustrating, and it is the central mystery that we need to solve.
And here's the big disconnect, right? We are so focused on buying support that we completely miss the sneaky little behavior, the pattern that's sabotaging all of our best efforts. It's kind of like trying to patch a leaky boat with better and better buckets instead of just looking for the tiny hole.
So let's talk about where this problem really comes from, because the real culprit isn't your chair, and it isn't your posture in one single moment. No, it's something way smaller, something you do thousands of times a day without even realizing it.
Okay, so what is it? It has a name: the costly reach pattern. See, the issue isn't some big, major ergonomic mistake. It's a tiny, slightly costly reach that you just repeat over and over and over again for hours on end. It's basically death by 1,000 paper cuts, but for your muscles and your nerves.
Think about it for a second. No, really, just reflect on your day so far. Every single time you moved your mouse, every time you reached for your keyboard, how many tiny little leans or stretches forward did you make?
The answer? It's literally thousands. You don't even need an exact number. You just have to appreciate that these thousands of seemingly harmless, low-level movements, they accumulate. They add up to create a massive amount of strain on your body by the time you clock out. Okay, enough of the problem, right? Here's the good news. If the problem is that small, the solution can be just as small. Let's look at a real-life case study that shows you just how powerful a tiny, tiny adjustment can be. Okay, look at this, the before setup. I mean, how many of us have a desk that looks exactly like this? The mouse was sitting just past a notebook, forcing a slight angle on a surface just high enough that the shoulder was always kind of lifted. And the after? All they did was move the mouse right beside the keyboard, pull them both a little closer, and clear up some space. That's it, a change of inches. And the results of that tiny shift? It was a game changer. Now, it wasn't a magic overnight cure, but it was a breakthrough. That awful 3 p.m. hot stripe went from being an inevitable part of every day to just an occasional visitor. The pattern was finally broken. I absolutely love this quote because it just nails the whole idea. In the grand scheme of things, 3 inches is nothing, right? But to your body, which is forced to repeat that little reach over that tiny distance thousands of times a day, well, closing that gap is like signing a peace treaty. It's a truce. All right, now it's your turn. Let's make this about you. We're going to pivot from theory to practice with a super simple, zero-cost diagnostic you can do right now, wherever you are. And I want you to actually do this with me. First, sit all the way back in your chair. Get your back fully supported. Now, without leaning forward at all, can you comfortably reach your keyboard and your mouse? Okay, second,
Check your shoulders. Are they relaxed and down, or are they kind of floating up towards your ears? And last, look at your elbows. Are they resting more or less by your sides, or are they winging out? So, if you answered no to even one of those questions, you've got a reach problem. And you know what the best part is? The solution isn't on Amazon. It's about fixing the placement of what you already have before you even think about buying something new. Let's frame this as a simple little experiment. No pressure. Step 1, just change one thing. That's it. Pull your mouse 3 inches closer, or maybe slide your keyboard back an inch. Step 2, observe. Just go about your day. Work for a few hours like you normally would. Don't overthink it. And finally, step 3, judge the outcome. How did you feel? Was there any difference at all?
So before you spend another dollar, before you start researching standing desks, and definitely before you declare that your body is just broken, please leave this explainer with this one thought. Test the reach distance. That simple, free adjustment might just be the peace treaty your body has been waiting for.